Good evening, Grace. As you can see behind me, people are just now beginning to arrive and get a taste of some fair favorites they wouldn't have been able to get this year. But earlier today, it looked a lot different as vendors were just getting set up. With the cancellation of the State Fair and Who's Fest, the Fair Food Festival is the perfect place to get some of your favorites that you may have missed out on this year. With travel advisories just now being lifted and businesses slowly beginning to reopen, the State Fair was a perfect opportunity for the city and small businesses to make up for some of that lost sales revenue. But now that'll have to wait. Social distancing, virtual social events, and a mask requirement are just some of the adjustments Minot State University students are having to get used to on their first day back on campus. Good evening, Joe. This has indeed been an unusual final year for the more than 400 Minot High grads who will walk across the stage for their diplomas tonight. They've spent the past couple of months wrapping up their high school educations at home, as with most students across the state and the country. Behind me, the grandstand is being prepped for the ceremony. Superintendent Mark Vollmer will address the graduates on what they've gone through and their futures. Now, as you mentioned, Joe, we're also expecting a moment of silence for senior Michael Finner, who passed away unexpectedly earlier this week. As for the ceremony in general, organizers had to take special steps to keep everyone healthy. Sasha Strong takes us behind the scenes of preparations for tonight's ceremony. Damian Colvin made his initial appearance today in a AA felony murder charge following last night's fatal shooting. Colvin appeared virtually before Judge Gary Lee. He's accused of fatally shooting another man near a Southwest Minot home last night. According to the affidavit, police responded to various reports of shots fired in a Southwest Minot neighborhood and people screaming and running from the area. Court records indicate that Colvin said to officers, quote, "I shot him." On the same day he would have stood trial, Ronald Wooten, the man charged in the July 2018 shooting death of James Joe Pashant, pleaded guilty Tuesday to amended charges. Sounds of construction fill the normally quiet streets of Animus, but the people out wielding chainsaws and construction equipment are cleaning instead of building.
Didn't expect to see all of this. I knew it was going to be bad, but I didn't think it was going to be like this.
Tammy Lynn Palmer of Animus says last night's storm was a new experience for the area.
All of a sudden, the floodgates opened, couldn't see across the street, heard a lot of stuff hitting the house. Was afraid the windows were going to break, had water coming in through the cupboards.
Tammy says that her home only suffered minor damages, but that neighbors offered her help. Other members of the community began clearing out more public areas such as Main Street and the town park. While some Animus residents have already begun cleaning up the damage from the storm, their neighbors outside of town are facing an even bigger challenge. The storm destroyed this agronomy center for the Arthur companies, leaving a path of debris. Across town, damage hit a little closer to home.
I was going to plan on taking it down sometime, but I guess now I can start taking the rest of it down.
Along with felled trees and fallen power lines, Rick Bjorland also lost a silo attached to a farm on his property.
I mean, we've had snowstorms, we've had, other things, but I've never, ever seen rain and wind like that.
No injuries reported yet due to the storm, but the community says they want to get back to normal as quickly as possible.
Probably the worst damage I've seen in one area in the 20 years that I've been in the county here. So as far as debris laying around it, not as far as building damage or anything like that, there's very minimal of that.
Digging out from the storm, one branch at a time. In Animus, I'm Faith Hatton reporting for your news leader. A historic action for a historic vote as LGBTQ2+ people and allies marched to the front of the Tribal Transportation Building as the Tribal Council prepared for a vote to alter the definition of marriage in the tribe's code. More than 100 tribe members, allies, and their families all made their way through the streets of Belcourt to leave an impact on the community.
We are making it known that we are not going anywhere, but instead we are fighting for equality for all.
For Jordan Laddiser, organizing support for Thursday's vote is just the beginning of what he hopes will be widespread change.
If this passes today, this would be the first in the state of North Dakota. We would set the precedents for the rest of the state as well as sister states around us, showing that equality matters and equality for all is needed.
Cultures were able to combine with additional support unique to the tribe's traditions.
We come here to walk in unity and pray.
Trevor Gunville is a spiritual leader in the Turtle Mountains, an LGBTQ+ ally, and identifies as a two-spirit being.
Us traditional people, we love all of our people. Love is love, we don't judge or discriminate. We love all of our people. and we're taking a stand with all of them here today.
COVID-19 restrictions meant many of the marchers could not attend the meeting, but even though they were outside, they managed to tune in. Inside, tribe members were able to give their opinions before the vote. Those who oppose the amendment say they believe the choice to change the definition of marriage should belong to the people, not the council.
So you're trying to impose on me, on those who believe like me, a law that is not something that I agree with.
Yes.
Representative Trotter.
No.
In the end, the amendment passed 6-2. The Diocese of Fargo, who oversees many parishes in Rolette County, released a statement to Your News Leader on the vote, saying lay Catholics in the Diocese of Fargo are encouraged to participate in the democratic process. The Catholic Church has always taught that the civil institution of marriage should be the union of one man and one woman, recognizing the complementarity of the sexes. Those who oppose the decision will have to have a petition signed by 20% of voters in the last election to bring the issue before the tribal council. But for now, same-sex individuals and allies are celebrating what they see as a win for equal rights. In Belcourt, I'm Faith Hatton reporting for Your News Leader.